5. Cool. That's neat. Hi, this is Resident Evil 2. It says it's Biohazard 2, but that's because I'm playing the Japanese version of the game. Am I good to give a countdown to start? Because I'm about ready to start. Alrighty, I'll let you know when to start the timer. So, it'll start as soon as this second cutscene that I skip is skipped, so 3, 2, 1, go. Alright, so this is Resident Evil 2, playing the Leon A scenario, and that was really stupid. I shouldn't have let that happen, but yeah, this is one of the 4 main scenarios in the game, and anyone who saw my shots fired run of Resident Evil 1 remembers really terrible dialogue and voice acting. This game's not too much better. It's a slight improvement, but more of the problems of this are the writing than the actual voice acting. So I'll probably shut up during most cutscenes because they're pretty great. And you can't skip any of them. However, I am playing the PC version of Resident Evil 2, which has the ability to skip door animations. However, skipping them instantly isn't actually fast. You want to wait a little bit for the door animation to start, and then skip it. Otherwise, it takes longer to load the next room, for whatever reason. Good source port of the game. But most people probably didn't know that there was a PC version of this, because it was, hold on one second, let me do this part real quick. This is the basketball court, it's a little bit tricky. I didn't get the quick shot, so I'm probably gonna fuck this up. Yeah. Not a good start. I do not like being bit twice before basketball court's over. That's really bad. But, yeah, the PC version was only released in Japan. The first 3 Resident Evil games all have PC versions that were Japanese exclusive. I tend to think that this one is the worst of the 3 PC releases, as far as being a source port is. But, yeah. The main thing with this game is there are shots that will be fired, don't worry, but a lot of it's dodging. But here's one of those examples where shots will be fired. Alright, so 3 shots on Misty, and 1 shot on him. Okay, so what happened? Okay, I'm getting a little pissed off now. I should not be messing this up. This is really easy. But anyways, in the bus, this female zombie on the ground can take roughly anywhere between 2 to 5 shots to kill, and the other zombie can take 1 to 3 shots to shrug. And that's what we need to do to get past them optimally, assuming you're not making mistakes like I am. I'm actually pretty upset how this is going so far, because I'm already at 110 health, and that's really bad. So I'm going to have to take it a little bit slow and get some first aid spray in one room in particular. But this is an important and kind of lengthy cutscene. That's Will Smith. He's kind of in a bad situation.
Who are you? Oh.
To answer your question, though, no, Resident Evil 2 does not have good or bad endings, but it's already a bad ending with this happening.
Sorry, but it looks like your party has been cancelled. What happened? About 2 months ago, there was this incident involving zombies in a mansion located in the outskirts of this city. Chris and the other STARS members discovered that Umbrella was behind everything. They risked their lives to reveal the truth, but no one believed them. Not long after that, all this started to happen.
So anyways, it's hard to not be tilted when you miss 3 of the easiest dodges in the game when there are significantly harder ones coming up. Let's just hope for the best. That's all we can do. But anyways, let me explain the category a little more, because as I said, there's 4 main scenarios in this game, and those are based on if you're playing as Leon or Claire, or if you're doing their A scenario or B scenario. So when you pick a character, you start that the route you're playing is their A scenario, and that's like the main story you're going by. Once you've beaten the A scenario, the character you play with is the opposite character in the B scenario, which is the same storyline, but with the other character. So if I were to play through the A scenario with Leon right now, I would then unlock Claire's B scenario, and vice versa, you know. So there's 4 main categories. They're all very different. Like, the settings themselves are pretty similar, but the routing is entirely different because of a couple different things. But Leon A is probably the most optimized out of all 4 of them, and the most accessible for anyone who wants to learn Resident Evil 2. It's also the most popular category. And the world record's like completely almost unbeatable, so good luck with that if you do pick it up. I'm not going to be doing like the world record strats. I'm going to be doing a lot of really safe stuff because it is very easy to mess up some of the harder and faster strats. Alright, so here we're going to do a dodge that's really easy. Once we get the door, we just need to run along that wall and go up the stairs. The thing with this game is that a lot of the dodges that look really hard are actually incredibly simple, like that one. But the ones that look really easy are the hardest to pull off, which is kind of interesting. Push the statue. Okay. So this is a statue puzzle. We're only going to do half of it because we're going to be coming back through this room here shortly. But we need to push these 2 statues on these 2 different plates in order to get a jewel piece, in order to get another puzzle piece. There's a lot of items you need to collect that go together to solve certain puzzles. There is a little, it's a lot of puzzles like that, but the layout of the items is a little more streamlined than Resident Evil 1's is, in my opinion. So that's Claire. She's pretty great.
It's good to see you're still among the living. It looks like we're not gonna find your brother here after all.
But kind of like the story with these 2 is that Leon is like a new cop to the police Raccoon City police force,
There's no reason
and
for us to stay any longer
he got
in
stuck in
this
this scenario in his first day.
split up.
And Claire
Any
is
survivors.
Chris Redfield's sister, and she's looking for him. So they both end up in Raccoon City and working together.
One last thing. Here's a radio.
The canon storyline that's actually, like, considered
That way we
canon,
can keep in touch
I
with
should
Hannah.
say. My speech is a little messed up, I'm sorry. But, the canon storyline is if you do the Claire A scenario and then the Leon B scenario afterwards. For anyone who is curious. So we're going to continue to do this puzzle. Need to push it a very specific amount of times, and also if I'm not careful with my positioning here, I could get stuck and it would screw this up. I think that might be right. Can't remember. I lost track of my counting. It's hard to talk about something and explain. Yeah, this is bad. It's just hard because there's a lot of things to talk about in this game, and doing it while doing a run is kind of tricky because there's a lot of movement. So I apologize if not everything syncs up. I'm actually pretty upset with how I'm playing right now because I've been practicing quite a bit. So down the stairs, we're going to shoot the zombie in order to run past him. This mitigates any RNG of him lunging at us. It's one of the it's one of the strats you can use to prevent enemy behavior from being a problem. I wanted to not get grabbed by that. It doesn't matter because you don't take damage, but it slows you down, and that's dumb. And here's the liquor. These enemies are really kind of one of the most terrifying in the game as far as what they can do. So, luckily some of the dodges on the liquors are easy, other ones are very, very difficult to pull off. So, we're going to put this emblem here, and then we're going to pick up our first key so we can progress the game. Alright. And first, we're going to do the first hallway liquor dodge. This is a very, very difficult dodge to do. Requires very specific positioning to work. Hopefully I get it at least once. Yep, there we go. Basically, you align yourself so that a liquor will swipe at you, but you will avoid his attack range. So there's a crank. This is one of my favorite items in Resident Evil. It's so popular that it appears in like every single one of them, up until Resident Evil 4. So we're just going to go through this hallway again. We're going to go through this hallway 3 different times. This second time we go through, we actually need to go into here in order to pick up another jewel. We need to get 2 jewels in order to get, as I mentioned, another specific puzzle piece. Also, you saw I have a lighter in the top of my inventory. each character has like a unique item they start out with, and Leon has the lighter, which isn't that useful. Well, it is, but it's not as cool as Claire's. Claire starts out with a lockpick, which allows you to just get access to certain items, like quicker. Leon just prevents you from having to pick up the lighter as a key item. Doing this dodge again. Again, really simple. And you saw that we finished that one puzzle. We are going back to collect the piece that had dropped here. If I can move myself properly, that'd be great. Hopefully we get this dodge here. Not too confident in myself right now. As justifiably shown, I have been bit by way more zombies than I really should have by now. These guys are really easy to get around though. Once I get to this door though, I'm gonna heal with the first aid spray I picked up. Really shouldn't have to use this, but it's whatever. So here we're gonna just walk along casually, pick up a book on the shelf, and oh, never mind, we're gonna fall instead. This is convenient access for us to activate the switch in order to do this little bookshelf puzzle. It's really easy. There's like a visual guide you go by in that room. So we just need to push it twice, right? You may be wondering, you know, if this is in Japanese, how do I know what I'm selecting? And the answer is simple. If you watch anyone else do it, you'll figure it out, even if you don't know the language. Also, I just so happen to know what those kanji are. That's the kanji for left and right, so it's pretty easy to figure out. I also beat this game in Japanese without knowing half of what I was collecting. That's just how well designed this entire game is and how streamlined it is, which is really nice. It's more than I can say for Resident Evil 1. So we're going to go through here. The next thing we have to do is utilize those two jewels we picked up, but we have to clear out some stuff in the way. We're also going to be picking up a very useful key item. First arbitrary jump scare. Alright, so that helicopter's on fire, and we need to put that fire out so we can get to the room where the jewels are used. This dodge right here is a little tricky. I should have taken it safely. That's really bad RNG. Okay, that's cool. So, there's a small chance where if you shrug off a zombie, they won't fall to the ground, and that's exactly what happened. So it basically lined up so she got in the way, and I was either going to get bit by her or her boyfriend. We call that female zombie Misty because she looks like Misty from Pokemon. I'm going to actually approach this really carefully. I'm really upset. There we go. Movement's very pivotal in this, and a lot of the dodges in this game are a lot trickier than they are in Resident Evil 1 because of, one, enemies are not always 100% consistent as to what they're going to do. Most of the time you'll be able to react to it, but sometimes they'll just do things you're not ready for. And the margin of, like, error you have with your alignment on your dodges is very minimal because a lot of the zombies are very close together. Alright, so just gonna go back here. Now that the fire's cleared up, we'll be going and putting those jewels we collected down. I think it's also interesting that we have the valve, which is going to be useful actually later in the game. Conveniently placed item in the police station. We're also going to pick up our next key here. It's the diamond key. It's called the diamond key because there's a diamond shape on top of it. All the keys in the police station are based off of symbols on cards. So you have like the diamond, the ace, the club, and the heart. But also we have these chess pieces which are going to be used in the sewer when we get to there later. We have to collect 4 of them to progress to the next part of the game. So that's kind of what you do in the police station, is just hunting down those 4 pieces. And there's a similar task you do with Claire. It's not hunting out chess pieces. You actually have to find like stone pieces to put in the chief of police's office to get to the same area. Like I said, the 2 characters have completely like different routes. Whereas like Resident Evil 1, Chris and Claire are basically going to the same areas and collecting the same items. There's minor differences between each character. One thing that is nice that's not different about Leon versus Claire is that They have the same health value. Both of them have 200 health. So damage is pretty easy to deal with. Alright, I got that dodge twice. Go figure, I'm missing all the really easy stuff, and one of the trickier dodges I'm getting very easy. But now we're going to do a series of kind of difficult dodges to get to another key item we need. We're actually going to wait here a second to... Amazing luck right there. It's going to be bad if we get grabbed here, so I need to be a little bit careful. There we go. Okay, I had to hesitate a little bit in that room. I'm actually going to grab this green herb because I feel like I'm going to need it. But Misty in front of that door is kind of annoying. Also, this is Will Smith again. Prepare to be spooked. What's wrong, buddy? You look a little blue. Alright, so I got the slow Marvin, which is great, so I can do this really quickly. He can either be really slow or really fast. You really want him to be slow so you can do this optimally. And you only have a fraction of a second to figure it out. And I got lucky, so, hey, that's pretty cool. So we're going to do a couple more dodges here. That's not as hard as it looks. You just need to stay along the desk and you should be good. So now we're going into the underground portion of the police station. There's going to be dogs down here. Unlike the dogs in Resident Evil 1, these are actually pretty easy to deal with. This one in particular, you just have to do this. You'll get around him every time. And you only really have to deal with the dogs with Leon once. You deal with them again when you play as Ada later on, but... Speaking of Ada, this introduces another character into the equation, Ada Wong. If you played Resident Evil 4, you might be familiar. If you played Resident Evil 2, you might also be familiar.
Sorry about that. When I saw the uniform, I thought you were another zombie.
Who are you?
Ada Wong.
And what are you doing here?
I'm looking for some guy named Ben. He's one of those reporter types, always looking for a scoop. I heard he was locked up in the cell block, only there's a wrecked car barring the entrance. I've been trying to find another way inside. If we work together, we can move this thing. Give me a hand here, will you?
So we're going to move this car, as suggested by the dialogue. One thing I forgot to mention that I hate about the mechanics of Resident Evil 2 is that you actually have to be walking in order to push a statue or an object. If you're running, you won't push it. That's not the case in RE1, which I don't know what the design choice there was, but I'm not a fan of it at all. So now we're going to go meet up with Ben.
Ada, wait!
And Ben is one of those reporter type guys. I like Ben's design with his like slick back hair and ponytail, because you can't tell if he's either a news reporter or if he's like a really disgusting looking porn star.
Get up, now!
But he's also kind of a dick. And this dialogue exchange between him and Leon is great because it's so back and forth as to like if they're like trying to hate each other or not.
Ben,
This game has amazing writing.
That you knew something about what's been going on, didn't you? What did you tell them?
And who the heck are you?
I'm trying to find my boyfriend. His name's John. He was working for a branch office of Umbrella, based in Chicago, but he suddenly disappeared 6 months ago. I heard a rumor that he's here in the city.
Oh, trust me. Leon's gonna yell at Ada a lot. It's great. It's my favorite part of the game is the amount of times Leon says Ada and yells at her.
Okay, I say we leave him.
I like to think that Ada and Leon's relationship in this game is kind of like that of a daughter and a very strict parent. There's plenty of instances where it's like that. It's great.
Those zombies aren't the only things crawling around out there. What was that? Like I said, I'm not leaving this cell. Get out of here before you lead it right to me.
Hey, I'm not going anywhere. I'm the only cop left alive in this building.
What?
Look, if you want to live, then you're gonna have to leave with me.
But do you even know how to get out of the city? There's a kennel in the back of the building. Inside the kennel is a manhole. Go through and it'll lead you to the sewer entrance, but it won't be easy.
All right, I'm going.
I also like how Ben says this is not going to be easy. You're going to see how difficult getting to the sewer is going to be. First we need this manhole opener. Open the door. Okay, that was weird. So I'm gonna use the herb here and then use the crowbar, just so I can have some health restored. Because I was currently at 110 health and I now have 160. The herbs give 50 health. First aid sprays restore every bit of health. Now there's this spider at the end of this hallway. He's a total jackass sometimes and will spit poison at you. Luckily, if you get hit, there is a blue herb in the safe room over there. But you really don't want to do that because poison in this game is really awful. So we're going to put down 2 of the chest bases we have here. And we'll put down the other 2 later on when we collect them. This just lets managing our resources and inventory to be a little easier.
Ada? I don't think I've introduced myself yet. My name's Leon. I'm with the RPD.
She just kind of shrugs. So I should mention, I haven't mentioned this yet, the reason why you play the Japanese version of RE2 on any version you play really is because the American version of RE2 has some additional enemies placed in different areas and the game is a lot harder. There's some dodges in the game that are a little more luck-based because of where the enemy placements are. And it's just, in general, it's slower because of that. Alright, so now we're playing as Ada for a little bit. Ada's actually really fast, but it doesn't mean anything because we're only going to use her for a short period of time. I'm going to use her to do a box puzzle. This is a box puzzle that you do in both, whether you're playing as Leon or Ada, or Leon or Claire. Each character has kind of their companion character. Leon's is Ada, and Claire's is a really annoying little shit named Sherry Birkin. And I say annoying because when she does this puzzle, she has the chance to, when she's climbing boxes, to have an animation where she drops her leg, and that's a little bit slower, and there's absolutely nothing you can do about it. So yeah, great character. But with Ada, we don't have to worry about that, because she's a grown-ass woman, and she knows what she's doing. So we're going to raise the water level with these boxes, because we do need to get an object on the other side. Why it is that you couldn't just climb the boxes to the other side is beyond me, but... you know, Resident Evil. You gotta force a puzzle into something. Even the most, simplistic tasks. Dude, I can't talk right now. I don't know what the hell is up with my speech. It's actually really bothering me. Alright. So now that that's done, we're not gonna play as Ada again for a little bit. We will be playing as her again at one point, but it's really boring.
Can you hear me?
Ada, did you find anything?
Right here. Hey, I can't reach...
Man, why are y'all talking about phobias in the chat? You know, there's already enough spooky shit going on in this game, alright? There's zombies everywhere, there's dogs and stuff that jump at you, big-ass spiders.
Ada, wait!
Like, this is a conversation that can wait. Anyways, now that we're done with this, we're gonna go back to the police station, because we still have 2 more plugs we need to collect. But Ada just gave us the next key we need for the police station, which is the club key. Alright, there's a very sketchy dodge coming up here. I hope to God I get it. I'm very nervous considering how I'm playing right now. So just pray for me. But it's another liquor dodge, and what we're going to do is try and trick the liquor into doing a specific attack and then run past him. It's a little bit picky, but hopefully we can do it. Okay, we didn't get it, but that's fine. It's a lot less risky to do this way, because if you miss dodging a liquor lunge attack, the liquor lunge attack does a lot of damage to Leon, and that would have been worse. So now we're going to go into this room with the club key that we picked up in order to pick up another weapon, because we're not really using the pistol, But we will be using this gun, which is the Magnum, very frequently, because when we encounter bosses, this is going to be our main tool to, you know, deal damage. And one thing about the bosses in Resident Evil 2 is they learned from Resident Evil 1 about health with the bosses, because bosses in RE1 die really quickly. In Resident Evil 2, the bosses have significantly higher health values, so they're a bit more tanky. So coming up here is another giant group dodge. Well, not another, but a giant group dodge. There is a very difficult setup to do a very quick dodge to get past all of them, but it's a little bit luck-based, and it's incredibly hard to pull off. So I'm not going to bother doing it. Alright, so we kind of want to manipulate the enemies to do specific things here. I did not turn that sharp enough, so I got bit there. That's okay. This is Red Hall. This is kind of where dodge execution and knowledge of enemies is really going to be the most present. I'm going to pick up this first aid spray because it's safe. Here's one of the pieces. That's a liquor. Don't have to worry about him, though. I was really worried I was going to get grabbed there. My positioning was bad. So now we got a little puzzle room to do here. The broadcasting room. Another convenient use of the lighter. So we need to light up these torches a very specific way. Thank you. And this will make a little gear here fall. We need this gear for thing that's holding the last chest piece that we need to collect. Alright, so we're going to try and get past all these enemies. This is a little bit tricky. Damn it, I didn't turn that quick enough. Bad luck there. Alright, so that was unfortunate, but there's really nothing I could have done. The problem with Red Hall is if you miss one dodge, you can't really do the rest of them. Or you need a little bit of luck for the rest of them. So that was really unfortunate. I'm actually kind of, again, a little bit tilted because I'm missing a lot of dodges that I've practiced. It's good to know, you know, practice really shows up when you know, do things over and over again. But it's fine. This is another liquor. This is another really easy one to get around because we just have to turn and start moving. And he's not going to be a problem. You have to dodge him a second time if you play as Claire, and that's a little bit trickier, but we don't have to worry about that because we're Leon. 23 is number 1. That is basically the same puzzle. Game's literally Ocarina of Time. Except there's zombies and guns and nothing that makes Legend of Zelda Legend of Zelda. So we're going to go back up here. And we're going to take a door that we didn't use earlier because we need to have two things in particular. We need the crank and we need the gear we just picked up in the broadcasting room. So we're going to use the crank here to lower a ladder. And, oh, son of a bitch. Some craters up. This is the thing we need to use the gear for. Oh, so one thing I haven't mentioned with inventory in this game is the window for input for when you do things in inventory is really wide as to when it stops being active. So you can utilize this to take shortcuts on the inventory to make getting to certain areas a lot easier. Because if you try to do it with like single directional inputs, it's really sloppy. So as long as you know, like, what inputs put you where, you'll be fine. I can use your crank anytime. Alright, cool. Thanks, Cyber Demon. Cyber Demon, good luck with the run after this. But anyways, what was I saying? Oh yeah, so I'm trying to think if there's any other, like, main game mechanics I haven't talked about. Because I mentioned inventory and stuff already, and that's pretty big. Oh yeah, the reason why I don't want to take damage is because unlike Resident Evil 1, when you start going into caution or lower, you start moving slower. While the forward movement speed is kind of bad, the biggest downfall is that you can't turn very fast at all when you're standing still when you're in caution. And if you go to, you know, danger, you start limping and it's really slow. There's a little bit more leeway with Resident Evil 1 because you don't lose your movement speed. So it's very penalizing if you do screw up dodges, which is why it's been kind of tilting me. Because it's not just the getting grabbed thing, it's the losing health thing. And each zombie bite does 30 damage, so You know, all it takes is just 4 bites from a zombie and you are into caution. And other attacks from enemies will do larger damage, so it's kind of sketchy. Also, yeah, that was Ben. Rip Ben.
Where are you going, Ada?
To the chemical plant. I have a feeling that's where I'll find John.
Ada!
Just a little
wait.
heartburn. Yeah, this is something a little bit of, this is something that Tums will, you know, can't fix. This isn't something Tums
Do
can't
you
fix.
read me, Claire? We now have access to the back of the parking lot.
Got it.
So we're gonna go back into the sewer next, and we're gonna fight the first, like, boss enemy.
I'm on my way.
And this enemy in particular is really kind of disgusting. That thing that just came out of Ben's chest that we could have easily shot and killed on spot, we just kind of let escape, and that's what we're going to be fighting. Alright, so this is the second time we have to get past the jackass spider. Hopefully he doesn't do anything stupid. Because if he bites you, you take damage. It's more that you don't want to get poisoned, because that's the worst thing that can happen. And we didn't, so we're good. Oops, bad inventory there. Alright, so we're going to equip the Magnum because this is what we're going to use to kill the boss. So this is known as the G Mutant or the G Embryo. However, shoutouts to Rush Excalibur in my chat for giving him the greatest rename ever. This is what we refer to as Cletus the Fetus. We're about to abort this bastard. Yeah, he vomits larva. It's wonderful. Alright, so what we did there in the boss fight, by the way, is you saw me shoot the gun my gun really quickly. There's a technique called quick shooting, where it's an animation cancel, where if you release the fire button or the aim button while you're shooting your gun and repress it at a certain frame, it'll shorten the animation of the gun and make you shoot faster.
What was that all about? Running off like that was reckless and stupid. Those zombies are everywhere. Not to mention that thing that got bent.
Also, I love this exchange because Leon just sounds like a really angry dad when he talks to her.
Look, Ada. As an officer, it's my job to look out for you. But we're not going to get through this alive if we don't work together. Okay?
All right. We'll do this your way for now.
But yeah, the main thing with quick shooting is that it is a little bit tricky, and while you could theoretically time it on, you know, what frame it is active again, or you can be active again, it's just easier to mash it into a certain rhythm to get it. That's what I do. That's what most people do, actually. And it's really easy to do on a keyboard. People who play this on console tell me it's a little bit trickier, but it's doable if you know the rhythm. Also, Leon just played the role of the hero,
That woman was...
and we're gonna play as Ada again. Because we need to go talk to that woman. The woman who just tried to shoot us with a gun. Seems like a good idea. And with the climbing animations and stuff too, it's the same kind of concept you need to apply to door skipping. You need to just wait like a second or two before you skip the animation. Also, we're going to unequip the pistol here because the in-game cutscenes that happen like this count towards in-game time.
You're the one who's with that.
And if you don't have your pistol equipped here, it's like 5 seconds faster because
Ada?
if you have your pistol equipped, Annette will shoot it out of your hand and you have to go pick it up before you gain control of Ada again.
Now I remember.
And so that's a little bit
One of the
faster.
men from Chicago who came
Kinda
to
cool.
assist the T-virus research used his girlfriend's name as his palette.
Which I haven't mentioned, we use in-game time for this game because real time is very kind of
Who are you?
variable and not
Annette
consistent.
Copeland. My husband is
And
the
the
man
downside to using in-game time is it's really crappy on the PC version of this game because it can,
John's dead.
for whatever reason, like if you run it on a shittier computer, like your in-game time will be better for whatever reason. Like I lost a race to a guy once because his in-game time was better even though I was like a minute and a half ahead of where he was.
G-virus?
So yeah, you know.
It's capable
good-
of creating
good port.
an ultimate bioweapon. Its potential
But I
is
also like
unlimited.
playing on keyboard, so
Then
It's like
that
the only
is
way I can
why
actually
the
capitalize on that is the
police
PC version.
department is precisely my husband, William. And it's all Umbrella's fault. None of this would have happened if they hadn't tried to steal his research away from him.
Also, I have run Claire before, but I don't like Claire as much as I like Leon. Claire is a little boring. The pacing's definitely a little bit slower.
So those rats
And
were
the
carriers of
boss
the
strats and enemy strats are a little
As
bit,
a result of his
I don't know, they're not as
father's
clean to me. Like,
William should
quick
be
shooting and
arrested.
stuff is a little bit more awkward with her.
As a human by now. Even worse, every G-virus bioweapon, including Mangum, has the ability to implant embryos into other creatures and create offspring.
Alright,
No.
contact watch mojo for top 10 best anime fights going on right now. This one should be number 1. God bless that scream.
Too bad.
It's funny because like Annette's voice acting is fairly like consistent and believable up until that point. That's just the worst thing ever. Alright, so we're gonna climb down this and we lose control of Ada. Alright, and now that that's been taken care of, we're gonna gain control of Leon again.
Ada?
And we also still have full health, despite the fact that we have a massive bullet wound in our chest right next to our heart, for that matter. Because Leon is a super cop. He isn't fazed by anything. Just getting past these spiders. These spiders are really easy to get past. They'll drop poison, but you'll run past them if you just keep moving. Alright, so remember that valve we picked up earlier? We're going to use it here. The conveniently placed valve in the police station is going to be very useful for this part. It's like everything uses a universally like sized hole to put this thing in. That sounds a lot worse than I thought it did. Anyways, but we need to crank the valve here again to raise the bridge because we will need this after we encounter the next boss, which coming up we're going to face what might be the most difficult boss in the game. It's a very terrifying experience. But we have to get to the end of the hallway because this is the hallway of suspense in order to deal with him. Of course, Ada's being the good person in this and shooting the water, pissing it off even more. So now he's been shot so many times, he's just fucking angry. He wants to eat Leon even though I've done nothing. But that is a giant alligator. I think it's an alligator. I don't know if it's an alligator or a crocodile. You'll have to forgive me if I don't get that right. So we're going to drop this conveniently placed canister here. It's a very, 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 very specific setup we have to do here. We just rotate a few seconds this way, aim down for about 60 frames, and then shoot him, he'll die instantly. So yeah, we blew the top half of the alligator's head off. That was really, really precise. I'm so glad I got that first try. Now we're gonna go talk to Ada. So I have full health, but normally if you actually have taken damage here,
Leon.
Ada's gonna patch you up, and that actually puts you back at full health, which I think is kind of cool. But it doesn't mean anything because my health is perfectly fine at the moment.
I'll patch you up.
Well, it doesn't matter if it's, a crocodile or an alligator. It's dead now, so that's the most important aspect of the encounter.
I just found out. John's dead.
You're right, I am from Florida. I should know that.
Never mind. Let's just get out of here. The sooner the better.
So now Ada's going to tag along for a good part of the adventure. She's really... You don't have to really worry about her. She's, just, as I said before, a grown-ass woman. She knows what she's doing. If you do this with Sherry, though, however, she needs to be a certain distance with you when you play as Claire. Otherwise, she crouches in fear, which is one of the other reasons why I hate running Claire compared to Leon. Alright, so here we're going to do some inventory. We're going to equip the pistol and then use the valve. Try to do this quickly as we can. We're going to need the pistol for the next, well, not the next boss encounter, but we're going to have a specific encounter with an enemy that we need to use the pistol for versus using the magnum. Because we're not trying to kill him, we're just trying to keep him away from us. Alright, you notice to pick up the golden token. We're going to pick up the silver token. The sewer system is actually operated by tokens, which is, you know, some next level innovation right there. So now that we have the 2 tokens, we can lower, not lower, but we can clear up some water that's in the way. Also, Ada just got poisoned by that spider. That really doesn't affect me at all, but now she's going to walk really slow. I also messed up my inventory there. So yeah, now that we've put the tokens in, we can continue on with this. But now we're going to move on to the other side of the sewer area, which is... I'm not sure, it's the area right before the lab. I don't know what I would call it, but the last part of the game is in the Umbrella Secret Laboratory. This is like kind of the precursor to it. Man, y'all stop with this goddamn Japanese weeaboo shit in the chat, seriously. Anyways, so this is a hand. It's kind of scary, so we're going to shoot it with the pistol. Because damage isn't relevant here, we just need to shoot him to get him away. Also, if you shoot the hand too quickly, it actually won't go back up instantly. You gotta be a little hesitant before you shoot it. Alright, and now it's gonna come down and Ada's gonna give it the justice so that it gets away from us. This time is so bad. I'm so worried I'm gonna go overestimate, but that's okay. We're gonna just try and tank through the rest of the game. So this next set of hallways, the first one we have to do, we're actually going to take intentional damage. This is the first time I'm going to get bit that I actually want to get bit, because this is the easiest way to get him out of the way, and the fastest. If you don't do it quick enough, Ada will shoot him, and he'll continue to be in your way. We're gonna try and manipulate these enemies, so that we can just run around them. That was it. Good. And in this room, I'm going to pick up some more magnum ammo, because we're going to need it for kind of the rest of the game, really. And we're going to pick up this first aid spray, because I'm being a buster. But, like, most of the magnum ammo collection is based around how many magnum shots we need for boss fights, and how to kill them as quickly as we can. One thing I didn't mention about the magnum is the closer you are to an enemy, the more damage it deals. And for certain bosses, there's setups that will allow you to use less shots to kill the boss, but they're a little bit more difficult and require, like, perfect quick shooting, so I don't always go for them. And a good example of that will be in this boss fight. I'm going to take it a little bit carefully. So now we're going to be descending into the secret laboratory and getting ready to fight the next boss of the game, which is Birkin himself, the one that keeps stalking the police station. Birkin's actually a multi-phase bioweapon. We're going to be fighting Birkin phase 2, I believe this one is. But you don't fight, there's like 5 phases of Birkin, but you don't fight them all in just the A scenario. You fight the other versions of Birkin in the B scenario. Alright, so we're going to run over here, and we're going to try and quick shoot this guy as much as we can. Great start. Alright, so we only swiped once, that's good. And we're going to run over here, finish him off. Also, he's transforming. You wouldn't see it on that screen, but we need to actually wait till he's fully transformed in order to do the final shot. Because his health doesn't go back to as low as it was when he's transforming. It goes back to 9,000 temporarily.
Don't die on me, Ada.
Which is kind of weird, but
Wake up.
I didn't design this game.
Come on.
It's not Burton, it's Birkin. If I accidentally said it differently, I apologize, but whatever. It's Birkin. Guy who invented the T-virus and further engineered the G-virus. He's a victim of his own creation, but he says something.
Welcome back. Hey, take it easy. We're inside Umbrella's secret lab. I'll go find something to treat that wound, so just rest here in the meantime.
But I'll only slow you down with these injuries. Go. Save yourself.
I told you, it's my job to look after you.
But you'll be in danger if you stay with me. I know I've only known you for a short period of time, but I really enjoy being with you. I know I'm not capable of caring about anyone, but I don't want to lose you.
We're leaving this place together. Wait here for me. I'll be right
Alright,
back.
so in here we're going to collect more Magnum bullets, which are right here. And I'm going to go ahead and drop off an item that I don't use anymore. You don't actually want to do that in the optimal route for this game, but I'm doing it because it gives me an extra slot for healing items if I can acquire them and not have to use them. And I like, for, you know, no reset scenario, I want to have healing items on deck mainly because of the last few rooms of the game, because they can be very punishing. This laboratory section introduces new zombies, which are naked zombies. They do 45 damage as opposed to, you know, the 30 that a normal zombie does. And we have to put this thing in here in order to get a plug. I don't actually know what this is, but we need it to power on the rest of the laboratory. I don't really know why, but I mean, again, I didn't design this game. I don't gotta know these things. Alright, so we're gonna go ahead and take this plug we just acquired and put it in right here. There's also, coming up, another enemy that's going to get introduced that's, honestly, in my opinion, the most pointless enemy in the entire game. Because, like, Resident Evil has some pretty hokey ideas, but this is just silly. I mean, this is a walking plant. Come on, really? Of all the things they could have introduced in place of those, they chose a plant. How exciting. They're also really easy to dodge, which is kind of nice, so I guess I can't complain too much. However, speaking of dodges, we're going on to one of the more difficult sequences of dodges. Hopefully we get it. Alright, so I got swiped, but I dodged the lunging attack. That's the most important thing to not get hit by. So as long as you have good movement, you shouldn't have to worry about getting hit by it. That one's pretty easy compared to the second time we have to do it. The second time we have to do it, it's a little bit trickier, and there's a good chance you can just get stun locked. Alright, so we're gonna go through this laboratory because we need to get an umbrella key card. Just gotta carefully make our way around these zombies. Alright, and we're out of here. Or, we're out of here. Now we're out of here. The triggers for the doors can be a little bit picky. They're not as picky as they are in Resident Evil 1, but they can still be problematic. Alright, so now we're gonna go to the harder of the two liquor dodges. Alright, so I screwed up. So this has the potential to go really bad. So this is a little bit sketchy. What? Come on, really? No. No, not like this. Oh, that's so shitty. I got fucked in that room. Like, I'm sorry if I'm using my inappropriate non-Christian streaming words, but this is unbelievable. That was a really bad lab liquor, too. This dodge is really simple, though, so that kind of makes up for it. But now I'm in caution, so I It sucks because I really wanted to have this first aid spray I'm going to collect in this room for the final boss, but I'm going to have to use it or I'm going to lose a lot of time. Oh, shoot. What am I doing? And my magnum equipped. Weird. Part of the reason we want to have full health is there's a dodge I can hopefully do here. But it requires you to have full speed and control of your turning. We're on a great start. Fucking wonderful. It's okay, though. Pick it up, please. We got lucky because the zombie positions there were good, convenient enough to shrug the rest off. Normally you would run around them and collect the disc. But I timed my first set of movement wrong. But luckily the zombies were in a position where I could mitigate the problem.
From me. This is my husband's legacy.
I earned myself a follower from a comment. I really hope that more than just one comment earns me a follower. But hey, thanks, dude.
You know who I'm
You seem like a cool guy.
You really don't know anything.
Come to think of it, if I want to say a bad word, I'm just going to replace it with a snack food from now on, just so that, you know, I've been having too much negativity during this run. I need to lighten the mood a little bit.
Tame the G-virus.
So we're gonna make this a little more friendly in the last, you know, 5 to 10 minutes of the run.
Check on her. She specifically got close to John and became his girlfriend to get information about Umbrella.
That can't be. I know her. Ada wouldn't do something.
For the record, though, I am.
If you don't want to believe
I've gotten close to PBing in this game a lot recently, so this is kind of disappointing for me. That's why I'm kind of tilted by it, but I'm still gonna focus on trying to get a better time for this category. Also, RIP Annette. One of the most unfortunate circumstantial, you know, deaths in the entire game. Alrighty.
Self-destruct sequence has been activated. Repeat, the self-destruct sequence has been activated.
Damn it, lifelike.
The sequence may not be aborted. All employees proceed to the emergency car at the bottom platform.
So anyways, now that that's done, we gotta get out of here because this place is about to explode. But it's not over yet. There's some plot that's about to happen. You guys need to focus. This is very important. This is my favorite part of the entire game.
I've been waiting for you, Leon.
What are you doing?
You know what this is about. So just hand over the G-virus.
I don't believe this. Annette was right. About everything.
That's why I told you to leave without me, but you wouldn't listen. Now hand it over. Don't make me shoot you.
You can't do that.
Oh,
Ada! Ada! I've got you. Don't give up.
Leon, it's over. Just let me go.
Shut up. You're gonna make it.
It's too late, Leon. We both know it.
No. I promised you that we would escape. You just have to help me out here.
I really wanted to escape with you, Leon. Escape from everything. Goodbye.
Ada!
Alright, everyone. This is an unfortunate death. Please Bible thump in the chat if you are sad about Ada. Also put Kappa if you thought that bitch had it coming. Oh, sorry, I screwed up.
This.
I forgot we're using fun words instead. Post Kappa if you think that Weenie Head got what she deserved. There we go. So this is a really easy plant to dodge. Just gotta run behind him. If you get grabbed by the plant, it's bad news. It's really bad news. So for safety purposes, I'm gonna pick up this herb right here, since I don't have a first aid spray, just in case things go badly. Just a little bit of an extra lifeline. Alright, there's a really difficult dodge I can try and do here, but I'm not going to because I've already messed it up. What? That was weird. Alright, and this dodge here hopefully won't go badly. Yeah, that dodge is actually a lot easier than it looks. Like I said, the theme of the dodges in this game is that everything that looks hard is actually really easy. And that's a perfect example.
5 minutes until detonation.
Alrighty. So now we're gonna activate this elevator, and just when you think you're in the clear, just when you think everything's totally okay, this guy shows up. Alright, so I need to reload this. This is a bad position. I'm gonna get hit. This is not going well. That's fine, though. Hopefully my position here is going to be good, because we want Birkin to do a very specific thing so we can manipulate his AI a little bit. But my position might be slightly off because he hit me, so let's hope that doesn't happen. This is the final phase of the Birkin fight. Nope. Okay, that's not too bad. That's bad. Oh no! Oh no! I got trapped, dude. It's over. Oh my god. No! Okay, so what happened there? Birkin has an attack where he can jump at you. And he also has an attack where if you're not lucky, he can grab you and kill and do 100 damage. That was enough to kill Leon. That's fine. I didn't want this run to finish anyways because it was really bad. So, yeah, that was unfortunate, but you can't do anything about it. And this run's single segment, so you don't have checkpoints or things to reload. And unlike other games, you don't just say continue and restart, you just die. So that was pretty bad, unfortunately, but I'm not too worried. This run wasn't particularly good from the start. Sorry if you guys wanted to see the ending. I hate to, you know, be a buster. It's kind of sad because I was really practicing, but I didn't see that coming. The final Birkin, if it doesn't go the way you want it to, can be a bit random, so I just got really unlucky. But hopefully you enjoyed what you saw. I'm pretty sure I will still be trying to get a better time in that, and it should go better on any other day of the week. But if you actually like Resident Evil, Cyberdemon's going to be doing Resident Evil 4 next, and that's going to be a pretty interesting run and a lot more glitch heavy than this game is, so yeah. Thanks for having me, guys.